Oh. Hello and welcome to the second show of At the Picnics. And my name is Paul Elvish and I am your host. Of course, I'm joined by Danny Walker, my co-host. And I'll introduce our wonderful guest shortly. A lot of people are probably going, oh, I recognise that old man. Danny, last week's show, the feedback we got was absolutely sensational. There's a lot of people that viewed it and said they loved it and looking forward to the next one.
Well, that's good. We might be able to hang around for a bit longer then.
We haven't been sacked after one show. Now, there he is, the man of the moment. I'm going to call him Grandpa. And I hope he doesn't mind. He actually, when I spoke to him during the week, he said, you can call me an old fart if you want to have me on the show. And we have Adam Bode. Welcome to the show, mate. And I regard you as an absolute legend of the picnic races, mate. You're one of the guys that put the picnic racing on the calendar for people to go and watch, mate. And congratulations for that. And thank you for joining us.
Good as gold, guys. Happy to be here. Pleasure.
Now, we'll talk about Adam and his, we'll say escapades, Danny, on the racetrack shortly. We'll quickly talk about last week. Back on a grass track this week, a professional track too. How did the jockeys handle it?
Yeah, we had a really good day. The facilities at Tarralgon are brilliant. There was a rather noisy fan, but apart from that, everything was really good. The track was pretty firm, but raced beautifully. Adam had a leading hand at strappers duties for the day, so it was really good to see him back at the races and have a bit of banter among the lot of us. And he's always good at telling us what we're up to. So, no, it was really good to see him back.
Fantastic. And was there much of a crowd? Was it better than Ballarat?
Was better than Ballarat. There was more of an atmosphere there. Unfortunately, Tarralgon only had approximately 2 clear days to advertise down there. Traditionally, they have 2 meetings a year and they pack out, like it's buy your tickets in advance to get into the place. And I think, and I really feel that if they had had a bit more notice and if RBL and the powers that be, Country Racing and so forth, would be interested in looking into running some other meetings down there with a little bit of advertising, I really feel that it'd be able to kick off down there. The country community down there really get behind their sport, their rodeos, racing, all of those sorts of things. So it might be a good option to look at utilising in the future if it could be possible.
There you go, Danny. You just got yourself a new job, advertising manager at Tarralgon.
Put me on the payroll. It'll feed my horses.
And of course, looking forward to Woolamai this week, back at a classic picnic racing track. They always get a good crowd down there. The tracks yesterday, I think, was rated as a heavy 9, so it should only be on the improve from there. So at least we know they are going to be racing on Saturday.
Yeah, it's looking pretty positive. We've had a few showers and that scatter through here in the last 24 hours. Hopefully the weather picks up. We've got a bit of breeze kicking around too, so hopefully that'll be handy for them to get a bit more drying happening. They had a good working bee down there where they cleaned everything up beautifully. And the crew down there always present a ripping track. Adam will vouch for it's always been a good fair surface to race on. They've always got a good grass cover, which has always raced really, really well throughout the season.
Now, Danny, we'll get through the awful part now. You won't be with us at Woolamai.
I've got a back seat this week. I got in trouble.
Did you get rubbed out?
Yeah,
yes, mate, I did.
Did you? Huh?
Yeah, for the worst possible thing in the world, I dropped my hands.
Tex, come on.
I know. That was really unlike me. Gone are the days where I get suspended for excessive whip use.
And you've gone backwards.
Gone the other way around. Look, totally my own fault. I screwed up, very simply. I had Lee Taylor to my inside. I thought we'd gone past the post. Caught the buildings down my outside and thought, yeah, we've gone past the post, put the whip away, sat up. Lo and behold, Femme Americaine, with that lumping big weight, comes smashing down the outside and pipped me by her nose. The steward said that had I have kept riding, I should have held on to second. Whether I believe or agree with them or not makes absolutely jack shit all difference. I had the charge in itself was for failing to ride my horse to the line. That's exactly what I did. So I'm sitting on the sidelines this weekend, probably painting fences and whippersnipping.
Now, that was, obviously, it didn't cost you the win, it cost you second. Now, watching the replay, you're on the horse Secret Surprise.
Yep.
I am not going to argue with the stewards, and I'm not going to say probably they have made the correct decision. You did fail to ride your horse out. However, many people agree with me. Secret Surprise was probably gone on the turn, and you got everything out of that horse to even hang on for a place. So
But that's not what they were charging
I
you
know,
with. So all of that's hearsay, so we don't really worry about that. And look, the stewards were great about it. I walked in and said, yeah, I'm guilty.
Yep, well done.
They said, yes, you are. There's no point you arguing with us. I said, yep, correct. No worries. That's fine. Cut, dry, bang, away we go. Catch you at Yay, hopefully for the Sister Olive. I think I'm pretty positive Dart Deputy's going there. I'm just not sure what the conditions with noms and stuff for those sorts of races and the cups this year are going to be, because we've had so many cancellations, whether we've got to have a minimum number of runs to get into races like that this early in the year. So that might be my homework for tomorrow.
So we've got Yay on the 17th, which you said is the 3,000 metre big race. And then Druin on Boxing Day, which of course is the 26th. Apparently there's a couple of wet spots on the track, but they're pretty confident they're going to get it up and running. As I found out yesterday, I've never been to Druin, and I found out that it's a very interesting track.
Bodes, what would be your best description of Druin? I think you're more qualified than any of us here to give a description of Druin.
I'll say unique.
Oh, come on, you're stealing my words now.
They told me the food's good.
I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
No, you don't.
Never got to try that. It's a good day, Boxing Day, though. It is a good day, but the track itself is it's different. It's tricky. I loved it for some reason. I don't know why, but it's a bit. You certainly don't want to shower rain on it or anything like that. It's a bit dicey.
Is it true, Adam, that at the track you have to dodge golf flags and golfers?
Well, golf balls in particular. Yeah. Walk the track first and pick up the golf balls off the track. Come home with a pocket full.
That's very funny. Okay. Last week at Tarelton, congratulations to Grant Seckham, who rode a double. He was whinging a few days before that he hasn't ridden a winner. So to stick it up, everyone, he comes out and rides a double. So well done. Well done, Grant.
He would be whinging.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
He was. We have a chat, Adam, a few of the jockeys and myself, and he was having a sook in there that he hasn't ridden a winner. So I sent him a couple of gifts, funny gifts on how to ride a winner, and they must have worked. So, and
well done. Good
to see Marie Pomerade is back this week. She broke her tailbone, the poor little thing. That must have been very painful. The horse, she said the horse slipped on the concrete and she had a fall. So she's back this week with a couple of rides. Of course, one is Majestic Missile for Don Dwyer with her claim, which brings that one down. So good luck to her. And, anybody that was at the Belnarine Cup last year, Marie only picked up the ride that morning, and I can't remember the horse that won it. But coming back to scale, everybody that was there, her beaming smile just made the day for everyone. It was unbelievable. I've never seen a jockey so happy with winning a Picnic Cup. So good on her and good luck to her on a Saturday.
Yeah, good stuff.
How many Belnarine Cups did you win, Bodes? 6?
Oh, yeah, half a dozen. Yeah. Great day, that meeting Australia Day, isn't it? Belnarine.
It's a ripper. I remember.
The best,
I don't know whether it was you. Yeah, it is. It's an overgrown. I call it the overgrown Aussie barbecue, and there's about 5,000 piss wrecks watching all of us punch them round, and it's a ripping day. Not unusual to see a couple of streakers down Coolart Road afterwards, if not up the straight.
Was it me?
Yeah. Well, I think
one
year, I can't remember whether it was Bodes or Lee that I was pulling up round after the first race, and we looked back and there'd been a barbecue explode. The gas bottle was on fire.
Yes. I can remember that.
Yeah.
I thought, I thought you were still there. So, we look round and here's this great big ball of fire going up. So it certainly all happens.
Now, Adam, when I first got involved with picnic racing a few years ago, I've loved horse racing all my life, and a mate of mine said, come down to Belnarine, and I'm positive it was Australia Day. Come down to Belnarine, come down to the picnic races. It's a great day. So I've gone down there and I'm looking at the form and I'm going, where are these tracks? HEA and I think Alexander's ALE or whatever. I go, what's going on here? And explain to me that these are picnic horses and that. And I said, well, how am I meant to pick a winner? And they said, I'll tell you 2 words. This is how you pick a winner at the picnic. So I said, what's that? They said, Adam Bode. And I remember that day at Balnarring, there was 6 races, and I'm positive you rode 5 winners. Do you remember that day?
I don't know that I rode 5 at Balnarring. I might have
Would have
ridden
been
4.
4.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
cleaned up. I cleaned up that day. And one of them, you were on a 3 or 4 to 1 thing, and you'd already had a couple of winners, and I went and put pretty well my winnings on that, and you got up easily. So, as I said earlier, mate, you were a legend of the tracks, and you were leading rider for so long. What was your secret, mate? Why were you so good?
Jesus, that's a tough question.
You didn't like running second?
Hated to lose, but loved to win. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably it, Tex. Hated running second. Yeah. It's probably my downfall, wasn't it? That sometimes I probably let my emotions spill over when I got beat. But
Well, it's nice to see you get emotionally invested in something, and just sometimes, especially depending on the rider that beat you. There are a couple of riders back, especially when I first started. I think there was a Kay Harris, S. McGovern, and when they beat you, it tended to bring out your most passionate zest.
Well, I always thought with any athlete in any given sport, there's something that makes them tick. And even though
Absolutely.
I wasn't sort of proud that my emotions might spill over, I figured that's what made me tick. So
Absolutely.
I figured if that ever went away, well, then I probably had lost my edge. But yeah, I hated getting beaten by anyone. But yeah, those 2 were, yeah. I hated
You
getting
and
beat by
Harris
those.
had a few ding dong rivalries going. You were both. He was ran second to you in quite a few occasions, and of course you came out and won 14 premierships, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, 14. Yeah,
That's incredible.
Yeah, we did have a really good. It was a really intense rivalry, and I never disliked him as a person or anything like that. We just were both very competitive and very aggressive. And I see Kane quite a bit now. We run into each other, and we're fine. You know, there was never anything
away
like
from
that.
the white rail, you were both fine. But put a white rail and a horse between your legs, and you were
Yeah,
both quite. It was totally different.
I think having him around though, and I probably would never have admitted this at the time, but in hindsight, looking back now, it probably made me ride better.
Absolutely.
You know, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. You always kept trying to step up.
Yeah. So it was good in that sense. Yeah.
What was your riding weight, Adam? Probably fluctuated, but what was it normally?
Yeah, it fluctuated. I mean, when I first started, I could go over the border in New South Wales and ride 60 kilos, and our minimum here was 61, and that got raised to 62 to 63. So my weight went up with the rising weight scale, and I was pretty much plussing a half kilo on anything that had the minimum.
Okay.
So if they had 63, they were always carrying 63 and a half. That was just the best I could do. And then as time went on, I couldn't ride under 65. And then as time went on, I couldn't ride under 67. And that last season, I was pretty much only riding top weight. So some jockeys are lucky that as they go on, they can sort of get lighter or stabilize their weight. But mine just kept going up and up and up and up and up. Yeah. So I had to put the same amount of work in to ride a heavier weight as each season went by.
And is that what forced your retirement?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'd still be doing it now.
Yeah.
If I could. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I just couldn't. I think as you get older, like I had to train very hard to keep the weight down, and I couldn't, as I got older, my body wouldn't cope with the training. I couldn't run as much. The knees felt it, the hips felt it. So you can't put the amount of work into as you can when you're a young, fit bloke. Yeah. So it got me in the end. In saying that, in saying that, when I started, if you had said to me, you'll get 2 years, I would have said, beautiful, I'll be happy with that. And I ended up getting nearly 20. So
that's insane, mate. And do you know how many total winners you got? Has anyone ever calculated it?
Yes, it has been done.
Yep.
Yes, he had Where did it go? You started riding in, what'd you say, 96?
Yeah, 96, 97 was first season.
Yep. So I actually wrote down your first ride somewhere, but I've lost it. You've had about 2,500 rides.
Yeah.
You rode 697 winners.
Yeah.
So you had a 26% win strike rate and a 62% place. Your last Australia Day at Balnarring was in 2016 in the Balnarring Cup on Yakethi, which was your last win, I think.
Yeah, that was my last ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last ride.
So,
I'd actually finished before that ride, and Ricky Moore had talked me into coming back to ride that horse. It had a big weight, and I was a little bit
track work, you bastard.
Oh, thanks for putting in the hard yards there.
I did a
you
good
put the
job
polish
for
on
you,
it.
didn't I?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, I did that for you a couple of times.
I'd have slung you if I'd have got slung.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, true. Rick wasn't renowned for slings, was he?
No, there's nothing from Rick. No, nothing from Rick.
No, but you got the trophy, so all good.
Let's be realistic. That 26% with that 2,500 rides, did you say? That,
yep.
If you look at that worldwide in any sort of racing, that's going to be hard to beat. That's incredible. That is astonishing,
hell of a
really.
batting average.
Oh, I just can't fathom that, mate. That is unbelievable. You've got to be, and as I said last week, you jockeys are just so down to earth. But mate, you've got to be proud of your feats.
Adam was one of the fiercest rivals that anyone could ever ride against. He also, because of his consistency and his dedication to the task, where a lot of people showed up to have a crack, he was there to be the one to beat week in, week out, every time. So his reputation, if anyone thinks it's bad now ringing for rides and they go, oh, we're waiting to see what Sean says, there'd be 5 people in every race when you'd ring for rides that would be waiting to hear what Bode said.
Yep.
It drove me nuts.
That was my next
and
question.
I'm not alone.
Everybody wanted you to ride, Adam. How did you do it? Did you have some trainers that you sort of said, okay, I'll ride for you first? How did it actually work?
Oh, well, yeah, obviously you have some stables that sort of get priority. It was tricky. It was actually probably easier to not have too many selections in a race. It was quite pleasant if you just had the one, because I would just stew over it for days and days. I was a bit lucky that my partner Christy acted as a manager, so that sort of took a lot of that load off me when it come to your rides, because I was always worrying about weight. I just had to try and get me weight right, turn up on the day. So generally speaking, she would have me rides pretty much sorted out. At the end of the day, you can't keep everyone happy, and I just went, I'll just keep me happy and I'll ride the best possible what I think ride is available on that day in that particular race.
And what jockeys are going around now that you had the pleasure of riding against?
Oh, obviously Tex is there.
We had a couple of good car trips to Bucket and so forth as well.
Yeah, that was a good road trip, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Good road trip. Yeah, there's a few of those. That's all part of it too, isn't it, Tex? Like I reckon that's the road trip is part of the actual experience.
Absolutely, it's part of the atmosphere and the flow. It's good fun.
I've heard about these road trips, and what happens in the car stays in the car. And I've already been told, Adam, that I have to go to, I've got to pronounce this correctly, Dedarang. Have I pronounced that correctly? And spend the night there, because you're tented on the track or outside the track. And I've been told I have to go this year, even though it's like a 6-hour drive or whatever from here. I've already a ticket's been booked for me.
This year we don't have a double header at Dedarang. The last few years we've had double headers, so it's been a pretty hard mission. We go from Dedarang. I used to leave on the Friday, I'd go and stay at friends' places on the Friday night and then drive home Saturday. And I think we used to lob into Woolamai on the Sunday, and that was always a pretty hard mission.
A few sore heads?
I used to end up, I'd wag work on the Monday, and I'd have the day off because I'd be a bit pickled by the end of it after doing sort of 14, 15 hours driving. And and all the rest of it. I think it was 10 or 12 hours driving for the weekend, and all the rest of it that went with it. It was pretty hard.
All right, Adam, before we do our 12 in 12, they tell me a lot of people have said you've got Adam Bode on. He's got some good yarns to tell you. A current jockey out there at the moment, and it can be Danny. Give us a bit of a story about him that's gonna maybe embarrass them, or we can have a bit of a laugh at him.
Jeez.
They told me Raymond Douglas is pretty well someone you can pick on.
Yeah, you know what? I've got a lot of dirt on Rays, but
what you can tell on here.
I'm just trying to think of something with Razor.
His see-through silks are pretty famous.
Yeah, with the striped undies.
Yep, that's them.
Yeah.
You know the ones. Yeah, he's pretty good for those. He loves a pair of see-through silks.
Everyone at the races this week's going to be looking to see through his pants to see if he's got striped jocks on.
Yeah. He was. I can remember seeing Razor. Sorry, mate.
I reckon they had red, yellow, and blue or black stripes on them or something.
They'd be the colours of a rainbow, I reckon. Razor would be wearing the colours of the rainbow.
What about Danny? You got some dirt on Danny?
Do you know what, mate?
Yeah.
She gave me one of the most fearful sprays I've ever witnessed.
No.
You know, don't you? You remember it, don't you?
Yeah, it was that Alex.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, and you know what was worse? Like, apart from the spray...
Just hang on a sec, anyone that's listening. Apologies for the language.
Oh, did I drop something?
Yeah, it's all right.
No, you have. Oh.
When I put it on YouTube, it actually asks a question, family orientated. This time I'll have to click no.
It's only one. We've done pretty well, I'd say, considering what we can normally come up with.
Surely it just blended in.
I thought so. I didn't even notice it.
There you go.
So she gave you a spray? Yeah.
Yeah, she gave me a fearful spray on pulling up. And I can't remember what I did, but she told me exactly how inconsiderate I was. And what was more embarrassing, the actual spray itself, is I was left speechless. Like I had nothing. I had no comeback. She just delivered this spray, and I went, geez. And I got back in the jockey's room, and all the boys took the pee out of me because
he'd copped a spray off a girl.
Off a female rider and give me a spray, and I had nothing. Now, I always had something, but this occasion I had nothing.
I rendered him speechless. One of the few times that Bode has ever been rendered speechless.
Yeah,
I think I was riding, I reckon if I remember rightly, I was riding old King of Dendy, which was one of Ray Caldwell's. And he had, when you were trying to pull him up, it was like trying to pull up a freight train. You just couldn't. And I've called out behind you, and you've just pulled up and stopped on the fence, and I was up against the fence and nearly ran straight up your backside. And yeah, because you had been sitting sort of two off the fence, and you came across to the fence, and I nearly ended up falling over. So that was what it was about. It was pretty solid.
Yeah, no, that'd do it.
Yeah,
it was probably the last race, mate. I probably need to get back in for a drink. I was probably.
Yeah, look, there's every chance you did. I think there was a bottle shop just around the corner from Alex, if I remember rightly, that I followed you into him, and you've gone, what the hell was that about? And I went, get off the fence. I can't stop that thing, and I can't steer it.
I find it uncanny that a lot of you jockeys say you struggle with weight, but you all like to have a drink.
So, you've got to enjoy the good things in life.
Yeah, I know. I'm hearing you. All right, Adam, are you ready for your 12 in 12?
Yep, why not?
Can I just bring up another thing? As when we're discussing about riding for your trainers and that, you trained quite a handy little team there for a while at the picnics too. And I had a quick look at your training record. You had nearly 300 runners for 68 winners, 41 seconds and 32 thirds.
Wow.
Now that's a stat I didn't know.
There you go. So that's
what
not a bad feat.
300.
296 runners.
Yeah.
For 68 winners.
Oh, shit.
41 seconds and 32 thirds.
Oh, there you go. Now, that's a stat I didn't know. I've got all my jockey stats, but my trainers ones I never... I actually trained. I won a trainers premiership in 2010.
Ah, I thought you might have. I was going to ask you when it was.
Yeah.
If you're following Adam Bode on social media, guess what his post is going to be tonight? His training stats.
No, not at all. It was just interesting, just for my own information. I'm pleased you
That's
did that.
incredible.
Yeah, I was just informed it's a 46% strike rate.
Wow. So 26% strike rate as a rider at
For
the
riding.
picnics and a 46% strike rate as a trainer.
Yep.
This is why you're an
Yeah.
icon of picnic racing, mate. And, people nowadays, no, it's like, I speak to people and they go, oh, I know you're an owner of a few horses now and, they ride at the picnics or they run at the picnics and that. A lot of people say, does Adam Bode still ride? Everyone, when they talk about picnic racing, and I'm not pissing in your pants here, still says, oh, Adam Bode, is he still around? That's how much of a legend you are.
Jeez, and I didn't think there was any. Even when I got asked to do this, I thought I'm not even relevant anymore.
No.
Like, why do you?
You are.
We miss you.
To know. I miss doing it.
Nothing like a bit of banter. So how's the new job going? What are you doing with yourself these days?
Gave up riding track work about 16 months ago, and I'm a track work supervisor at Pakenham, and it's a good little gig. It's good. It took a little while to slow down.
Yep.
But it's a good gig, and it's something that has kept me in the game. It's kept me in the industry, and it's something I can do till retirement age if I like it. Yeah,
And
that's good.
You live close to the track, Adam?
Yeah, I'm 10 minutes from work.
Perfect.
So fantastic.
That's perfect, mate. Yeah, that is.
It's unreal. I was based at Cranbourne for a long, long time.
Yeah, I thought you were.
And, and when I left there, I thought, geez, I'm leaving behind 200 mates, effectively, the people you see every day. And that was tough, but I've gone to Pakenham and I've made 200 more. So, you make new friends and stuff like that, but I've still got the old ones from Cranbourne. So
we just ring you up and ask you how the gumboots, horses and lights and so forth are going.
Oh, nothing stays sacred, does it? Yeah.
All right, Danny. Are you ready for Mr. Bode's 12 in 12?
I've got to cancel one of my questions because you've already answered it. The best spray was me. So, all right, here we go. Here's the next load. Ready, set?
Yep.
Biggest pest?
Biggest pest? Well, Simon Stoll when he was riding. Pest. Yeah. I'll tell you what, Leroy not far behind him either.
Footy team.
Bombers.
Oh.
And I know I'm owning up to that. I know. Hey, tough times.
Best thing about retirement?
Best thing about retirement, eating and drinking what you want without having to worry about it.
Yep. Beer, wine, cider, or spirits?
Beer.
Worst horse?
Worst horse?
What was one that used to frustrate you more than anything else?
At the races?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know the answer to that?
No, there was one you used to run seconds on a bit, and it used to drive you nuts because you thought he would win, and he just didn't quite get there a few times.
What horse was it?
I can't think of its name now that you've asked me. I had it up before, and I've lost my piece of paper.
Okay.
You run a few seconds on him, and
righto. No, I can't
it's
think,
all right.
mate.
I'll get back to it in a minute. Cats or dogs?
Oh, I like them both, but probably dogs.
Best thing about being a pop?
Teaching the young fellas things about life, how to kick a footy, things like that.
Yep.
How to try and be a jockey.
Best horse scene?
Are we talking picnics or?
Go both if you want.
Obviously Winks and best picnic horse I've ever seen. And I might be a little bit biased here, but when we going east,
He
very,
would
very
probably be
dominant.
your favorite. Yeah, he was a very handy horse of yours.
Very dominant, very dominant.
What was the best road trip? And your road
Oh,
trip crew?
jeez. Road trip to Hinnamunji. I only went there and rode there once. Phenomenal. Yeah. Yeah.
How many cups have you won? Have you won cups at every track? What track have you missed?
Missed Hinnamunji. I only went there once. I had the 3 rides. I couldn't ride under 66 at that point. It took 2 runners. They both won, and I ran 3rd in the cup. So I never won a cup there, but I've won all the other cups.
Yep.
That's the only one I missed.
Can we be cheeky enough to say what was the worst track that you rode at? Or what was the one that you didn't like?
I couldn't stand Deaderang. I couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand Deaderang. I love the day itself, and I love the club, and I loved everything about it, but the track itself scared the shit out of me. But it didn't help.
It's a doozy.
It didn't help that when I went there, my first ride around it was on a first starter.
Oh, shit.
It was by Gleam Machine out of a pug mare, and they were renowned rats, and it was horrendous. Normie Thompson trained it, and I just remember going, I can't wait for this day to end. If I ride a winner today, I'm never coming back. And I rode a winner, and I said, good, I'm never coming back. But as it is, the next year I was riding a little horse that was winning a few cups, and of course it got set for the Deaderang Cup, so I had to go back there, and I won the cup. So then I said, I'm never coming back. Never coming.
Just to let you two lovely people know, we've got just under a minute left before we get timed out. So I'll probably have to call it quits there. Adam, we'll have to get you back on another time, mate, because there's so much more we'd love to talk to you about.
Yeah, no worries. Now that I've got my head around this Zoom thing, we can hook up anytime.
Yeah, blame me. All right, to everybody that watched us again, thank you so much. As we said last time, if you want to give us a ribbing, please do. Last week's ribbing was I was in the dark and all they could see was the light shining off my head. So I've copped that. I've moved to a better position this time. Thank you so much, Adam Bode. You are a legend. Thank you so much for joining us. Danny, thank you. And we'll be back next week.
Thank you. Thanks, Ads.
Nah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. It was good.
No worries, mate. See ya.
Take care, bud. Catch ya.
Yeah.